Hi, I have a message for you, and it's a message I needed to hear for a very long time, and people were trying to tell me in various forms. But the message is this: stop putting off writing. You'll know if the message is for you if it makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, if your gut reaction is to come up with an excuse for why you're not writing, or why you're not writing regularly, or why you're not writing for yourself and for your passion. And this message is for you if any of the following resonates and sounds like you. You were once, earlier in your life, really creative, prolific, and it was just for you. And then somewhere along the line, you stopped being creative. In my case, writing. Maybe for you it's a different form. But at some point you stopped. And you've been putting it off for a while. For whatever reason, you've got a job, life gets in the way, family, responsibilities, etc. But you've tried getting back into it maybe over the years, and it's just not stuck. And you know you're a writer. You know that's what you want to do deep down, and you're putting it off. In my case, as a kid, I wrote all the time. Short stories, scripts, full novels, I was massively creative. It just came naturally, as I'm sure it does to many children. It was the same throughout school. I loved English, any creative writing task, that was my whole thing. I was all over it. I was, the English person, like the creative writing kid at school. And of course, university, I went and studied English literature with creative writing. And somewhere along the way, the problem started, which was that suddenly creative writing felt like a chore and like a task and like something deeply connected to my sense of self-worth in a way that before it had just felt very innate and very simple. Suddenly, sitting down to write felt complex. It felt charged with a lot of emotions. It was like a big tangled knot inside me. So, for many years in my 20s, I essentially gave up the idea of being a writer. When I was a little kid, that was my dream. I'm going to be an author one day. Then I grew up. Terrible mistake. And I decided, you know what? Life doesn't work that way. Not everyone can be a writer. I've just got to face facts. I don't even like writing that much. I made all these rationalizations to myself. So, as the world being the way it is, I knew I needed to make money. So, I found jobs in lots of different places, in lots of different sectors. Marketing, a classic, if you're any English student. You've studied English. Tried marketing, blogging. Had a stint as a fitness instructor, which was very fun. Went back to copywriting and copy editing. I had a full-time job. Part-time jobs. Lots of part-time jobs. But deep down, I struggled because I knew I was missing something. And there was something inside me that kept pulling me back to writing for myself. To writing with no real point other than it was just something I knew I wanted to do. The thing was, every time I tried to jump back into that creativity, because I was following this urge, the muse, it struck me, I felt an absence, and I thought I was compelled to write. Because it wasn't a habit, and it wasn't a practice I'd cultivated, it was so hard. So I would give up almost instantly because it was so difficult. I'd think, it was so easy when I was younger. Why isn't it easy anymore? It must be because it's not for me. I'm not going to write. I'm not a writer. It just, that's what it means. So I repeated this cycle, probably for the last 10 years, thinking there was something missing, I knew I needed to write, and basically giving up really quickly. I lost my job a few months ago, and I instantly booked a creative writing course. And on the course, the teacher said, you know what, you need to write, and write regularly, make it a practice. Word count daily, or even just setting yourself aside a time to write. And I was still in the last month of my job at this point, and I just thought, no, I can't. I'm too busy. I'll start later. I'll start when my job actually finishes. And I just kept making excuses to put things off. And finally, in the last few months, I have been writing regularly. The message is to stop running away from yourself. You know you're a writer, and you know it brings you passion. And what's more than that is you can't live without writing. It's painful, and you're gonna find your way back to it anyway. So why not give up the charade that you're anything other than a writer and start today. Stop putting it off and start writing.